We're gonna get started. And thank you everyone for being so patient. All right. So good evening. Welcome to the voting list number 9. It is Thursday, March 14th. It is 6:52 in the evening. This is the Health and Government Operations Committee. I want to thank the committee members for your hard work. You're here tonight, and I really appreciate it. And staff, everyone, the whole team that is working really hard to get us where we are today. So first, I would like a motion on the withdrawal piece. Though it's been moved in second, any concerns or questions? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? All right. House Bill 448. It is Delegate Watson, Korean American Day. It is favorable. It is Lindsay and Kerr. Lindsay.
We just heard this bill. It requires the governor to annually proclaim January 13th as Korean American Day. There are no amendments. This did not go to subcommittee.
Okay. It's been moved in second. Any questions or concern? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Seeing none, it passes. Who does not want to be on this bill? Oh, there's no amendment, sorry. House Bill 568, Delegate Bagno and Lewis, Community Health Workers Appreciation Day. It is favorable. Lindsay and Kerr. Lindsay.
We just heard this bill. It requires the governor to annually proclaim May 8th as Community Health Worker Appreciation Day. There are no amendments. This did not go to subcommittee.
It's been moved in second. Any questions or concern? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Any opposition? Seeing none, the bill passes. House Bill 780, it is Delegate Embry, Competitive Seal Proposals, Private Security Contracts. It was favorable with amendment from the subcommittee. It is Lindsay, the analyst, and Kerr, the chair of the subcommittee. Lindsay.
As introduced, this bill required that state agencies use the competitive sealed proposal procurement method to solicit private security services if the contract is expected to have a value greater than $100,000. The amendments that begin on page 1 in your packet adopted in subcommittee established that competitive sealed proposals is the preferred method for procurement rather than requiring it for security services with an expected value that is greater than $1 million and delays the bill's effective date to July 1st, 2025.
Okay, Delegate Kerr.
The amendments, the consensus amendments reflect the discussions between the sponsor and the advocates. I move the amendments.
The amendments have been moved in second. Are there any questions or concerns? I remember that. Anyway, no questions or concerns on the amendments, right? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition on the bill as amended? It's been moved in second. Any questions or concerns? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Who does not want to be on the bill? Okay. So let's go to Calvert County Delegation, House Bill 835, Procurement Local Preference. It was favorable. Lindsay and Kerr.
This bill is a Calvert County delegation bill. It authorizes the Board of County Commissioners of Calvert County to enact an ordinance following specified procedures. It gives a percentage preference to a resident business that submits a responsive bid or offer that exceeds the lowest responsive bid or offer by a non-resident business. We have a unanimous delegation letter of support.
Delegate Kerr. It's been moved in second. Although, are there any questions or concerns? All those in favor say aye. Any opposition? The bill passes. Let's go to House Bill 877, Delegate Phillips, Board of Public Work Transparency Dashboard. It was favorable with amendment from the subcommittee. Lindsay and Kerr. Lindsay.
As introduced, this bill requires the Office of the Comptroller to develop and maintain on its website a procurement dashboard that must be public, interactive, and searchable, include specified information related to state procurement, and be compatible with the Comptroller's online payment processing portal for integration of vendor payment data. The dashboard must include information related to BPW meeting announcements, agendas, and related materials, including contract spending amounts and state procurement preference programs. Beginning in fiscal 2026, the governor must include an appropriation in the annual budget bill for at least one full-time position in the Comptroller's office to develop and maintain the dashboard and software necessary to develop and maintain the dashboard. The amendments that begin on page 2 of your packet were adopted in subcommittee. They require the comptroller to develop and maintain the dashboard on BPW's website rather than the comptroller's, require a governance committee composed of liaisons to BPW from the offices of the governor, comptroller, and state treasurer to review the contents of the dashboard for accuracy and completeness, and repeals the requirement that the dashboard be compatible with the comptroller's online payment processing portal. And finally, the amendments require the governor to include an appropriation beginning in fiscal year 2025 rather than fiscal 2026.
Okay, Delegate Kerr.
It's unanimous and move the amendments.
The amendments have been moved and second. Any questions or concerns regarding them? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Seeing none on the bill as amended. It's been moved and second. Any questions, concerns? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? The bill passes. Who does not want to be on that bill? Okay. House Bill 961. It is State Government Commission on New American established, favorable with amendment. It is Lindsay and Delegate Kurt. Lindsay.
This bill establishes a commission on new Americans staffed by the Office of Immigrant Affairs to measure and report on the contributions of new Americans to the state and the availability of government services for new Americans. By October 1st, 2026, and at least once every 5 years thereafter, the commission must report to the governor and General Assembly. The report includes a quantitative report detailing the contributions of new Americans and the services available to new Americans, and a qualitative report measuring customer satisfaction and identifying any gaps in the services available to new Americans. The amendments that begin on page 3 in your packet strike language that would have required for fiscal 2026 and annually thereafter the governor to include in the annual budget bill an appropriation for the commission in an amount sufficient to carry out the requirements of the bill.
Okay, Delegate Kerr.
This bill was not unanimous in subcommittee. Nevertheless, I will move the amendment.
Second.
So the amendments have been moved and second. Any questions or concerns on the amendments? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition to the amendments? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right. I said it again. All right, on the bill as amended. It's been moved in second. Any discussion or concern? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Delegate Shalega, Delegate Chisholm, Delegate Morgan, Delegate Riley, Delegate Hutchinson, and Delegate Kipke. Thank you very much. Any co-sponsors? Who does not want to be on the bill? Yeah, that makes it easier. Thank you so much. House Bill 993, Delegate Stein, Commemorative Weeks, Maryland Climate Education Week. It was favorable. Lindsay and Kurt. Lindsay.
We just heard this bill. It requires the governor to annually proclaim the first week of April as Maryland Climate Education Week. This bill was not heard in subcommittee. There are no amendments.
Is there a motion on the bill? It's been moved in second. Any questions or concerns? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Delegate Shalega, Delegate Morgan, Delegate Chisholm, Delegate Riley, Delegate Hutchinson, Delegate Kipke. There goes my idea of giving it to one of you. All right, House Bill, I thought I would try anyway. That you will be too tired to notice. House Bill 1158. Actually, who does not want to be on? Oh, there's no amendments. Sorry. The House Bill 1158. Delegates Curd and Bagno. State Government Attorney General report. If favorable, Lindsay and Kerr.
This bill repeals the requirement that the Attorney General by December 1st of each year report to the Governor and Legislative Policy Committee on any action taken under the Maryland Defense Act. The bill also repeals the requirement that the Office of the Attorney General annually publish its annual report and opinions of the Attorney General from the preceding year in a bound volume. Instead, they must publish the information on their website. Finally, the bill repeals the requirement for the annual report to include an itemized statement of the receipts and disbursements of the Attorney General during the preceding fiscal year and specifies that the annual report must also be submitted to the General Assembly. There are no amendments.
Delegate Kerr.
The bill was unanimous in subcommittee. I move favorable on the bill.
So moved in second. Any questions or concerns? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Seeing none, the bill passes. Let's move on to House Bill 1206, Maryland Ireland Trade Commission Establishment, favorable with amendment. It is Lindsay and Kerr. Lindsay.
This bill establishes a Maryland-Ireland Trade Commission within the Department of Commerce to study and promote trade between Maryland and Ireland. The amendments on page 4 of your packet sunset the bill after 2 years.
All right, Delegate Kerr.
This was unanimous in subcommittee. I move the amendment.
Second. But the bill has a problem. The sponsor, just kidding. No samples were brought. Okay. And the amendment, they been moved in second. Any questions or concerns? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Any opposition? Seeing none, the bill is amended. It's been moved in second. Any questions or concerns? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Any opposition? Seeing none, who does not want to be on the bill? All right, let's move on to House, what is it? House Bill 1388. I'm trying to get him out so he can go to his party. House Bill 1388, Delegate Hill, Labor and Employment, Non-Compete and Conflict of Interest Clauses, Veterinary and Healthcare Professional. Favorable with amendment, Lindsay and Rosenberg. Lindsay.
This bill expands the application of provisions of current law stating that a non-compete or conflict of interest provision in an employment contract is null and void under state law to an employment contract for an employee that is required to be licensed under the health occupations article or as a veterinary practitioner or a veterinary technician. The amendments on page 5 in your packet, strike language in the bill that would have applied the bill retroactively to an employment contract entered into on or before the bill's originally October 1st, 2024 effective date, and then change that effective date to June 1st, 2024.
Okay, Rosenberg.
Yes, I think the members will recall the hearing in terms of the very strong testimony we had from both doctors and veterinarians regarding the limitations of the non-compete provisions. And so it was the view of the subcommittee to move forward with the bill as amended, which removes the retroactivity provision. And so that this bill would apply to future non-competes, or as the Attorney General has written, if it's an automatic repeat or renewal of the contract that was initiated or entered into prior to the date of the law, but a renewal that takes place after the effective date of the law, should it be enacted, would be bound by this law. It's just logic. So it's favorable.
All right. Are there any questions on the amendments, on the bill? Any concerns about it? Delegate Olston. Oh, you were first, sorry, Vice Chair Collison.
Just to, I think just to be prepared on the floor, I think we'll get the question of, what about folks who currently have a non-compete clause in their contract and in 2 years, they leave that setting? Do they have to abide by the non-complete that they had signed, before this bill went into effect? And I'm going to look to Lindsay to help us out with that.
The feedback that we got from the Office of the Attorney General is that it's really going to be, it depends. It's going to depend on the individual circumstances, the contract, whether or not that contract originally was even enforceable. So unfortunately, it depends is the answer.
I have a feeling, Madam Chair, that'll be asked on the floor tomorrow. So we should be prepared for it.
Definitely. Thank you. Delegate Olston.
I won't belabor it today, but I just have concerns about our involvement in free market transactions. I feel like this is something that the business community should be able to deal with on their own. And I feel like we're kind of overreaching as government, telling people what types of contracts they can and cannot enter, especially when a lot of times they may be investing lots of money into a person starting their business or starting their practice, and then they take everything that they learned, go across the street and open up shop. So I just have some concerns about that. But I get what they're trying to do, but I personally don't like it.
And I respect that. Thank you very much. I think that given, Delegate Hutchinson.
So in subcommittee, I voted down on this because I have still some questions, and truthfully, if we went through those questions right now, my mind is so tired. I don't think they would make sense just now. I have somebody I want to call and talk to about this. And I look forward to really the debate on the floor. It's not to say that I won't be up when it gets to the floor. But right now I'm just gonna stay down until I get
Yeah,
everything.
and that's,
everything
and I
figured out.
respect that. You have to, it's the right thing to do, to know what you're voting for and feel comfortable. And I respect it 100%. And I'm so grateful that you told me that here. And all of you are welcome to do that and to tell me, okay? So it's welcome. So the Delegate Hill is not here and she's gonna have the bill on the floor and it's her bill. I would say that, you know, personally, I feel that the testimony we received was very compelling. And we have a shortage of healthcare workers. There's a shortage of veterinarians. I know people that are waiting more than a month to go take their pets somewhere, as well. And a lot of other states are moving that way, because it is an impediment and a barrier. So I personally will be a yes, but I respect, you know, people's, positions and thoughts on it. Tomorrow, yeah. We'll be there tomorrow. Anyone else? This is the place, this is the time, okay? All right, seeing none, all those in favor of the amendment say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition to the amendments? Seeing none on the bill as amended? It's been moved in second. Any questions or concerns that were not discussed a few minutes ago? Anything else on your mind? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Oh, Delegate Chisholm, you have to be fast.
Real quick, because this is conflicting for me too, and I think Delegate Austin's correct about some of it. I think it actually works against free markets, because I do know people that have been throttled back from being able to move, and not just in the veterinary business. These non-competes are hard to enforce, but when they are enforced, I've seen them wreck people's lives. That's why I actually am in favor of the bill, but I do think it's not a perfect solution, but it's probably a pretty good solution for now. But I think that Delegate Austin's probably got a pretty good point as well, but I will vote for it.
And I appreciate you saying that, because I think they wanted a compromise. And I thank you all for the discussion, because you have made me more thoughtful, okay? And I, as a leader, as a person, and I appreciate that, is the fact that we took out the provision of retroactive, right? Which would have gotten in the way of those contracts that were already negotiated. So this moving forward does not have it. So I feel comfortable like you, because I spoken to some people that really are going through some serious hardship because of it. So thank you very much for your thoughts. Anyone else? All right. All those in favor say aye. Any opposition? Can you raise your hand? Delegate Alston. All right. Thank you. So okay, who does not want? That's why I love you guys. Listen, who does not want to be on this bill? Can you raise your hand? If you do not want to be on it, Delegate Bagnall, Delegate Alston, Delegate Riley, and Delegate Hutchinson. Okay. Thank you so much for the discussion. I really appreciate it. Delegate House Bill 1420, Delegate Kaiser, Cybersecurity, Office of People's Counsel, Public Service Companies, Public Service Commission, and Maryland Cybersecurity Council. It was favorable with amendment. It is Lindsay and Kurt. Lindsay. And we are actually, Economic Matters, for the record, is primary.
Yeah.
We are only secondary, okay? Lindsay.
As amended, the bill authorizes the Office of People's Counsel to retain as necessary experts in the field of cybersecurity. The bill also requires the Public Service Commission to incorporate cyber resilience into existing regulations pertaining to service quality and reliability standards of electric companies. add specificity to an existing requirement for third-party assessments of public service company operational technology and information technology devices, and establishes various definitions related to cybersecurity and cybersecurity vulnerabilities in existing state law. The amendments that are on page 6 in your packet replace a requirement to hire a full-time cybersecurity assistant pupils counsel with authorization to retain experts as needed to consult on utility cybersecurity issues, and removes a requirement for public service companies to submit certification to the Office of People's Counsel of compliance with cybersecurity standards that are used in assessments. This bill did have a high fiscal note, and that change requiring or authorizing them to retain experts rather than requiring them to hire a full-time cybersecurity assistant people's counsel is expected to reduce that fiscal note.
Are there any questions or concerns? Delegate Kipke.
Chairman, intend to vote against this bill, not because I'm certain that it's not the right thing to do, but there have been concerns expressed that it conflicts with a cybersecurity bill that passed last year that may or may not be correct. Since we're not primary on the bill, I haven't been really able to dig into the details of it, but to err on the side of caution, I'm just going to vote no.
And thank you. Thank you for letting us know. Appreciate it. Any other comments from anyone? Seeing none. We have to vote on the amendments, right? Okay. Can you move someone with the amendments? Oh. Second, okay, thank you. Thank you for looking out. Any questions or concerns? Great. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition to the amendment? And the bill is amended. All right, and the bill has been moved in second. Are there any questions or concerns besides the one we just heard? Seeing none, all those in favor of the bill as amended say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition to the bill? Delegate Shalega, Delegate Chisholm, Delegate Morgan, Delegate Riley, Delegate Hutchinson, and Delegate Kipke. I just thought I saw Giselle's hand go up. I'm just kidding. I was like, I see a hand back there. All right, great. Let's move on to House Bill 1486, Delegate Forbes, Economic Development, Cyber Maryland Fund Program Alterations. It was favorable, Lindsay and Kurt. Lindsay.
This bill alters requirements related to the Cyber Maryland program and fund by requiring the Maryland Technology Development Corporation to administer the Cyber Maryland Fund, clarifying the types of administrative expenses that may be paid for from the fund, removing the requirement to hire specific staff for the program, and removing the mandate to provide funding for specific staffs. TEDCO is also required to adopt regulations to award grants under the program. There are no amendments.
Delegate Kurt.
Favorable on the bill.
Is we moved in second. Any questions or concern? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Seeing none, the bill passes. The last bill for tonight, House Bill 1501, is a joint audit and evaluation committee. State Government Office of Legislative Audits, Performance Audits. It was favorable, Lindsay and Kurt. Lindsay.
This bill reduces the frequency of performance audits of the Board of Liquor License Commissioners for Baltimore City and the Board of License Commissioners for Prince George's County that are required to be conducted by the Office of Legislative Audits. Specifically, the bill requires performance audit of each board every 6 years rather than 4 and 3 years respectively. There are no amendments.
Delegate Kurt.
Move the bill.
Second.
All right, the bill has been moved in second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? See none? Oh, yes.
I know we all want to leave. This, there have not been audit findings. Is that what I remember?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
And for the record, we just voted the bill up. We heard these bills in committee. We had these bills with the exception of the commemorative day. For the record and for people watching at home, we had these bills in committee. We heard it. We had it in subcommittee, discussed it, brought it here. So we know it. We have read it. We have seen it. Just for the record, this was the last bill of the evening. Just want to thank everyone for your hard work. You've been working really hard and we really appreciate you. Delegate Hutchinson.
May I do a vote change on 1388 to no?
Okay. That's fine. That's fine. That is fine. No problem. So anyway, this actually, Kaiser. All right, so this concludes our voting session for this evening. I want to thank Osady and Giselle, and I want to thank publicly Michelle and Andrea. And Andrea, for your hard work all week and putting these files together and getting it to us. Thank you so much. All right, so if you could bring us down, please. Thank you, and if you could stay seated.